Welcome to another live stream, everyone. Well, guys, Bitcoin has been on a total moon mission the last few days. And I mean, we have basically just stopped shy of the all-time highs so far. So what's next for Bitcoin? Is it smooth sailing from here, or is there danger ahead? I honestly have a little bit of mixed feelings. Actually, not even that. I'm by no means bearish at this point because we have so much strength right now. It looks like we're just ready to hammer through resistance. However, that being said, you guys, that's usually when the price looks strongest, is at resistance. So again, not saying that I'm bearish on the market at this point. However, I need to look at things with a level head and understand that we are still trading at resistance. As I mentioned, my resistance for quite a while, ever since taking this long down here at around 109K, you guys, I still have 20% of that position running. So I would love to see us smash through this resistance. But even since entering that position down there, you guys know that I was targeting basically 120K as the start of my resistance. That does not mean that we need to end up getting rejected here. We saw a little reaction, and the fact that we ended up breaking above after that, I mean, that looks good. As basically, as long as we are holding above this pivot right here around 119.2 thousand, as long as we're holding above that point, I mean, this trend, even just the very lower, well, the more micro trend on the 4 hour, just the immediate uptrend here, as long as we're holding above that level, we're still holding a series of higher highs and confirming higher lows. So as long as we don't break that structure, I see no reason to panic. That being said, for the swing traders out there, I mean, I do see reasons why you would want to start possibly laddering into a short just for the sake of playing resistance. Again, I'm not saying I'm bearish at this point, but it is what it is. I will be keeping an eye on the shorter time frame. Honestly, even if we print a 5-minute sell signal on the Trendmaster as we are kind of in this purple box, my 786886 Stuber fib pocket, as long as we're in there, if we start seeing those signs of weakness, I wouldn't be opposed to taking a bit of a hedge short. I did the same when we had our little swing fail here, actually. Those of you in the Telegram know that I took a little bit of a short on that little rejection there. I did end up closing a quarter of it, and then and I think it was about a 47% profit because it was high leverage. But after that, it was basically just a hedge anyways, and ended up getting stopped out on the rest. That's totally fine. My longs took the reins again. I'm actually currently still in, like I mentioned, 20% of my beautiful Bitcoin long from the lows here. And actually I have two nice Aster positions on the run right now as well, which I will get into in a second. But yeah, as it stands right now, guys, I mean, Bitcoin does look strong, right? We're getting right back towards all-time highs right now. But again, we are just at resistance, and we have to take it fairly serious because it's not just that this is a double top, you guys. It's that on the more, I mean, the macro trend that we had before setting these all-time highs, we broke that structure, right? The fact that we broke that confirmed higher low around 112K, that was a serious market structure break. And obviously we have had a downtrend that broke since as well. So not all hope is lost by any means, but we just have to understand that until we either take out this high or take out this low, this is all one giant range. Everything else that's happened in here is just smaller range inside of this, but this is the macro range, and that is what structure is showing just based off higher highs, higher lows, breaking those levels, etc. Just how I normally pull fibs, how I normally look at Stuber fibs. And speaking of that, guys, I mean, if you are interested in seeing more examples of, how I trade charts, not tweets, not fundamentals, that sort of thing, how I'm pulling fibs, how I'm looking at market structure, some of my favorite strategies and all that sort of stuff, do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code on the screen and get in there. I'm just, just always kind of posting what my overall thoughts on the market are and that kind of thing. But yeah, lots of examples of how I'm pulling fibs and some trade setups. I will talk about Aster because I mentioned a long earlier that played out beautifully. But yeah, things are still looking good. Like I said, as long as we hold this confirmed higher low, because just like the structure I was talking about on the bigger swing of things, high, higher high, confirmed higher low. Because we broke this high, that's a confirmed higher low. So even a pullback at this point, I would still be considering the trend something like this. And so therefore, basically, yeah, again, below 119.2K, I would start to have my concerns. And that would mean that the smaller range is broken. And at that point, I would basically be targeting the bigger range support, which means that we could very well end up going significantly lower and retesting support. I am not saying that has to happen. I'm not YOLOing into a short saying that we're doing that by any means, but I'm just looking at things with a level head, with a realistic perspective, just in case we do get those things. It's not that I'm saying they're going to happen, but if they do happen, I absolutely want to be ready for that, so I'm not completely blindsided by the market. The weekly chart, you guys, still holding beautiful support on the weekly Trendmaster indicator. And yeah, basically, as long as we're holding that, things look great. That is currently around 97K. If we drop that, then I would have concerns about the macro time frame. But as it stands, we don't have those big red flags yet quite at this point. Lower time frame, starting to just, we're looking a little bit weak right at that 886. I mean, we obviously got just above it, wicked above, and now just struggling a little bit. The thing is, guys, even if Bitcoin is going to be bearish from this, it can go higher. It can even break all-time highs. One thing that would make me really want to consider taking a short on this, and a decent one, would be if we end up basically breaking all-time highs, but just wicking above and then getting red candle closes below as a bit of a rejection. I would love to end up shorting that. And again, not even so much that it has to be bearish, because I mean, even if we break above temporarily, that is nice to see, but it's very likely that we see some sort of a pullback if we do get that rejection. So that is something that I want to watch for. I don't want to be blindsided. There's so many people who I assume have breakout orders set that if we break the all-time highs, they're going to FOMO all in on a leverage long kind of a thing. And you guys know I don't really like playing breakouts, because so often you get those swing fails. It could be a massive breakout, right? Who knows? For all I know, we end up breaking through this purple box, through this red box, and shoot to 140K. It's absolutely possible. That's why we have invalidations. But as I would way rather be looking, and everybody knows this, but when it comes down to the time of the trade, it's very hard to do, but we are supposed to buy support and sell resistance. That means longing support, shorting resistance as well. Same thing, you guys. Not to say that it always has to play out. And yes, sometimes breakouts happen. It's just that invalidation for shorting resistance is always so much closer than trying to play a breakout. If you're going to play a breakout properly and leave some wiggle room on your stop loss and that sort of thing, it can end up being a much bigger loss than, let's say, shorting resistance, right? So I generally, when I see those breakouts, if it's on a longer time frame like the 4 hour, the daily, sure, then I can zoom in and maybe look for more so scalps, and maybe those scalps turn into a runner by playing, let's say, the 5-minute chart. But as far as an actual breakout, I would have my concerns, and I would much rather get that pullback for a better entry. And a perfect example of that, you guys, is when we were trading right about here. I was warning on a live stream that it's not, I still felt that we were going to end up at 120K, and we have. But I mentioned that if this was a 5-minute chart and we had this kind of price structure, basically the fact that we broke this resistance here, I want a Stuber fib pullback. And that's exactly why I ended up taking that trade, right? I had my fibs pulled something like this. We had the purple box down here. That's the 786, 886. Let me just clean it up a little bit. We had that after breaking the downtrend. Those are the kinds of positions that I like to get into. And I was very vocal about that when we were trading up here, just basically saying that I don't know for sure if we're going to come down to this level, but if it does, that is a long opportunity that I like to trade. I mean, 90%, probably 95% of my trades, you guys in the Telegram see this all the time. I love pointing out fibs, and I love pointing out this fib pocket after a structure break like that. So to see it on the 4 hour wasn't all too concerning to me, whereas a lot of people started getting very bearish into support, just like they are getting very bullish into resistance, right? You see it time and time again. One thing that I will say is a little bit right now is, let me just bring up the long short ratio here. Sorry, this is an indicator that is on the dashboard here. So basically, looking at this, and this is one thing that I truly believe could send us through this resistance, is basically the fact that we have retail trying to short this resistance this time. If retail was really FOMO longing into this, I would say that it's a recipe for disaster. But the fact that, like I said, retail traders are now almost 62% short. That's usually retail's on the wrong side of things for the long run. And I mean, you can see it here when we ended up seeing them flip, when we saw the red cross the green here and started just staying to the upside for a while. That is where retail was shorting heavily. And that's where we got that next push to the upside, right? Yeah, so basically right now, I just, that's something that I have to take serious, that could end up being rocket fuel to push us through the all-time highs. So again, it's not so much that I'm bearish at this point. I will take resistance serious, but there is signs of strength in my opinion. So I don't want to be blindsided. That's what invalidations are for, right? If, if we end up pushing into this level, like I said, I'll be watching for a swing fail opportunity for a rejection with a stop, above 127K, laddering into that. Or if we just end up getting very close to the top of this box, just strictly from a risk reward of how tight that invalidation would be compared to the potential move to the downside for retesting a bigger range. That's just a risk reward that I would be willing to take. If we end up getting very close to my invalidation. It's not that I wouldn't be bearish. It's just the fact that I would be like, you know what, invalidation is so tight. I have opportunity to make a very large trade with a very small risk, basically. Speaking of that, I mentioned that on Aster earlier today. Basically, Aster with the MDX Trendmaster indicator. I talk about this all the time in my Telegram channel, that I love seeing, and on these streams, but I love seeing when the Trendmaster has trending buy and sell signals. And you can see that every sell signal, they were no good because they're trending to the upside. However, every time we got a higher buy signal, we just ended up printing a new pivot point, right? We got our higher buy signal here. Boom, we never came back down past our local support there. Get a higher buy signal. We can move that up, right? Our local support there never did come down to that. So this morning, when I noticed, I was actually warning that I would be watching for this because we got a sell signal. I said one thing I'd be watching for would basically be a fib pull, something like this, thinking that we would maybe retest support of the bigger range from this pull. However, if we ended up getting a higher buy signal, I would have a new tight invalidation for that kind of a setup. And I think we were actually trading right around here when I mentioned that, hey, we got that signal. Basically, as long as we're above $1.87, the trend is still holding true on the 5-minute. And that signal is still how it is right now, just because we obviously haven't had a higher sell and a higher buy signal yet. But basically, I even added to my position and then bumped up my stop loss a little bit, just below $1.85, leaving a little bit of wiggle room there. But yeah, I had two Aster positions from significantly lower, from a 4-hour fib pull, something like this. So we ended up testing the 786 perfectly, but I have brought that average entry up because, like I said, I added to those positions with the MDX Trendmaster confluence there. And I took profits on the way. I closed a quarter of this position, and my stop loss, like I said, is just below $1.85. So I'll lock in the rest of my profits if this 5-minute trend breaks. So very handy indicator to have. Basically using fibs and the Trendmaster have been my two favorite strategies lately. And like I said, I pointed this out earlier today. We were trading at $1.93 on Aster. We're currently at 205, but we actually topped out at about 215. So a very nice move from that. But yeah, just absolutely beautiful. Called that out, like I said, as we got that nice little pump, ended up TPing a quarter from both. And now we'll see what happens with the rest of the position. But yeah, and I mean, guys, this is also, I pointed this out on Bitcoin the other night as well. The exact same thing, right? We got a higher buy signal on the trend master, nice tight invalidation. And look what happens. We just ended up getting that nice pump to the upside, able to lock into some profits and stuff like that. So, and as mentioned, the 4-hour swing where I was talking about being at support and absolutely nailing this. The trade was, I think it might have even broke 1,000% today. Definitely over 900. I only have 20% still running, but an absolutely phenomenal trade there. But yeah, Aster still looking good. As I mentioned, if it stays above $1.87, even the 5-minute trend is holding. Understand, guys, if you are trading something like Aster, this is very volatile, right? So before you enter a position, understand how much you stand to lose if the trade goes against you, because these ranges are a lot more volatile than they look. I mean, I gave this warning or this signal basically right here, and we ended up pumping over 12% on this little rally over a few hours. That's a huge move. So let's say right now, for example, although it doesn't look that bad, I mean, an invalidation of this trend is 10% away. So if you just YOLO'd into a 10x leverage long from here, you would actually be getting liquidated before your stop loss even hits on that kind of a position. So just pay attention when you're trading those. I mean, you should be checking that before taking any trade, honestly. But especially when it comes to very high volatile coins like this. Ethereum, so far, I mean, we're getting closer to macro resistance. I'm not overly interested in shorting it by any means, but I'm just basically have it on my radar to maybe avoid taking FOMO longs and that sort of thing. Or if I see some weakness on, let's say, the trend master, all of a sudden we start getting lower sell signals on the 1 hour or the 5-minute or something in this resistance zone, I would be interested in shorting in that case. But I would need some confluence before willing to short, especially altcoins in this current market conditions. Basically, if it does end up pulling back, we break some structure and we just end up seeing a fairly deep retrace, then this is the fib that I'm watching for. So once again, it's not that I'm saying we have to drop down to these levels by any means. I just have it on my radar. If it happens, that's a great long opportunity for me. Solana, you guys know I mentioned this actually weeks ago, well in advance. I think it was very much the same thing when we ended up dumping here, that I was basically saying the same thing, right? We had higher trending buy signals on the MDX trend master. So from there, I pulled a pivot point from where we found our local support before this higher buy signal here. And we ended up testing that 786 absolutely perfectly. And look at this, guys. We hit my first target, the 0.5 fib, and we wicked perfectly to the 214 target as well. So that Stuber played out absolutely fantastically. To be honest, I never even took that trade. I laid it out. I wish I had an alert set here. I did not. I forgot to. I ended up missing that. Maybe some of you were able to catch it, but just beautiful. And even at this point, we did print another higher buy signal, right? So the market in general is looking pretty dang good. There's a lot of strength. Again, the market always looks strongest when we get towards macro resistance. So we got to be careful a little bit. However, until we start seeing some lower time frames breaking structure and that kind of thing, I really don't have too many concerns at this point. Hype as well, still looking great. This dip did go down a little bit further than I was expecting, but again, we printed a higher buy signal on the, and I mean, guys, look at this trend on Hype on the 4-hour with the MDX trend master. Since, well, just look at this. Higher buy signal, higher buy signal, higher buy, higher buy, higher buy, higher buy. All beautiful signals so far. This is an absolutely massive trend, right? Basically, when we ended up breaking the lower sell signal trend and retesting it, that was basically around $17, $18, and it's currently at 50. This has been a monstrous trend. You guys know I've been talking about Hype for quite a while. It's an altcoin that I've been trading, not actually in the last week or so. It's been off my radar. I've been focused on trading Aster a lot more, but still a coin of interest to me. I still think it's basically been performing very well. And guys, those of you who do appreciate these live streams, appreciate me coming at you with a level head, really just trying to be the voice of reason in the market too. I mean, it's not that I'm trying to crush the hopium. I'm also trying to stay away from the panic, just keeping a level head and trading the charts for what they are. So if you appreciate that, please do me a favor. It would go a long way for the new channel if you hit that like button. For those of you new here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Obviously, I will be doing several live streams on this channel every week. This is going to be my new public live stream channel. Still through the financial summit, and that's another thing, you guys. Even though I'm with the new channel, my Telegram all stays the same. My partnership with BloFin is the same. My partnership through Financial Summit, it's all still the same. They just basically gave me my own new channel to trade and everything crypto, basically have my own audience because yeah, I like looking at charts. I don't care what they are, altcoins, meme coins, Bitcoin, all of them. I just like trading these beautiful, colorful charts and pulling fibs and looking at structure. So again, if that is something that interests you, you want more examples of my trade setups and just how I look at the market in general, do yourselves a favor, scan that QR code. But yeah, market's still looking quite good, you guys. The 1 minute, I assume, is going to start really probably start printing some lower sell signals. I do, before I zoom in here too much, I actually want to catch up on the chat a little bit. Somebody's name just caught my eye there. Loser to Lambo. Great to see you in here, buddy. Yeah, absolutely great to have you here. All of you guys, thank you for being here with me once again. Always appreciate doing these live streams. It's so fun just talking through my emotions. It really helps me keep a level head by doing these streams as well. I'm really tempted to take a head short, to be honest. I still have that long running, but I am tempted to take a head short. I just really wish this would have been a lower sell signal in that case. Really getting mixed signals right now. It's pretty flip-floppy for the trend master, not always giving you a perfect trend the way Aster has been lately. But yeah, because we basically have a higher sell signal, we have a lower buy signal. So there's just a little bit of conflicting stories here. That is just the 1 minute. I would really like to see something more concrete on the 5 minute. The 5 minutes kind of my jam. That's where I like to trade. Red Panda, welcome. Great to see you here. Tube Dog, good to see you again. Habu, always here. Appreciate it, my dude. Don't understand why retail would be short with BlackRock buying 8,000 BTC the last 3 days. Well, I mean, to be fair, I would rather be looking for sell opportunities at macro resistance than looking for buy opportunities, basically. But the fact that retail is shorting heavily, that makes me less confident about that theory. Jarek, can I get the Trendmaster indicator you have? That is with the MDX ALGO indicators. There is a link in the description below if that's something that you want. I do, through my link, you do get 10% off on that. There's probably people in this chat right now who have those indicators. I mean, there is a slew of wonderful ones in there. I just really focus on a couple of them. But yeah, if that's something that interests you, it is in the description below. Yeah, Red Panda, I guess you already mentioned that. Thank you, brother. What EMA are those? Honestly, I don't know. They are just in my preset, and I've had them for such a long time. I assume it's a 20 SMA or something like that. Oh, that is the wrong indicator. Sorry, that's the Trendmaster. And yeah, basically I just select StuTube Trading. It was preset for me, and that's the one that I've been using ever since. But I believe it's probably a 2021 SMA, something like that. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful indicators. Honestly, When I first got these indicators, I was mostly excited about how beautiful they look, and that was reason enough for me to buy these. But now after using them, I mean, I use these indicators each and every day. I absolutely love these indicators. The only other indicator I really use at this point outside of these ones is the RSI sometimes for very specific divergences in the RSI. But Habu wouldn't short BTC with the institution buying right now. Yeah, like I need to see some confluence on my indicators. Like I said, I would love to see some lower trending sell signals on the 5-minute. At that point, I would at least take a hedge against my long position, at least a 1-to-1, and then basically see what happens just to protect myself more than anything. But if that lower sell signal were to get invalidated at that point, then the longs would take control again, basically. But yeah, I agree. I would be a little hesitant to short right now with retail being short heavy and with us having some strength here, institutions buying. Need to see some added confluence before I'm too bearish at this point. Maz, good to see you here, buddy. Retail will probably flip as we get into the invalidation zone. See, and that's another thing that I'm thinking is, especially if we get into my red box here, basically starting at 124.6 up to 127.2K. That's that big, beautiful liquidity grab zone that fakes a lot of people out. And not saying it has to, right? We can just blast right through, but so often we see rejections in those levels, even if it's just temporary, right? It really screws with people when people want to play that breakout. And I have a feeling that if we do get above all-time highs at all, I think that we will see a serious flip on that long short ratio. I am also just curious about this. I know I had it mapped out once upon a time. That is another concern I have. I know not everybody loves playing diagonal trend lines by any means, but those are exact wick touches. And the fact that it lines up very well inside that fib pocket makes me think that there's a good chance we end up hitting this and getting some sort of a rejection, basically like the top of a rising wedge. On top of that, just the fact that, oh, I don't have it mapped out anymore. Whoops. We are getting close to the same amount of time that the last two cycles had played out. We're within a week or two of where the last two cycles topped out at about 152 weeks. So another thing to keep on the radar there. The trend master looking clean now. Yeah. After the help yesterday, when a couple people helped me out there, I was able to clean it up and get rid of a couple signals that I never wanted on there. Absolutely beautiful. But guys, I think that's about all I really wanted to go over today. I just wanted to bring you this video because yes, it's absolutely pumping. It's great to see, but I want to be that voice of reason, that level head once again. Just understand that we are only at the start of resistance at this point, so we can still push higher on the longer time frame, those who are looking for swing positions. So just be on the lookout for some sort of a swing fail, just a fake out of all-time highs. If we get above with a wick, but we close those longer time frame candles below that level, that could be a very concerning sign for the market, quite honestly. I still think that altcoins could go for a run after that, for a finale run, basically, of the altcoin season. But we're going to have to see what happens with that. So anyways, my friends, once again, if you did appreciate this live stream, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not. And if you are interested in seeing some of my favorite trade strategies, just more examples of how I pull fibs, how I look at market structure, some trade setup ideas and theories, and just my thoughts on the market in general, do yourselves a favor, scan that QR code, get in my private Telegram channel. And thank you so much for being here with me once again, my friends. Always love doing these streams. I will be back. I'm probably going to be gone for a few days, but I will be back early next week. And yeah, with that, those of you in the Telegram channel, will obviously be kept up to date. I will be posting some charts and stuff in there, even if I'm gone. So yeah, other than that, my friends, thank you so much for being here with me once again. We will see you in the next one. Peace out.